If you guys want the fastest way to improve your aim, get some Control Freaks for cheap. Use code GOBLIN for 10% off and improve your aim today. Link in the description. Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin. Welcome back to another Call of Duty World War II multiplayer gameplay video. And basically, this is going to be a part of my series on how to get better at Call of Duty World War II. What I do in this series, it all depends on you guys. I take your guys' energy, your guys' feedback, and mix and master it into a video form. Basically, it's a Q&A. Anything you guys want to ask me in the comment section down below, as long as it pertains to Call of Duty, getting better at Call of Duty, tips and tricks. Ask me. I want to see hundreds of comments in the comment section down below. I take some of those comments, answer them in video form, and then we go on to the episode. And this is probably my episode maybe 4 or 5 on World War II. I did quite a few episodes on Black Ops 3, like maybe 15, 20. People were loving it. So I'm going to keep going as long as people are supporting this thing. Drop a like on this video, guys. I'd appreciate that. I have another video coming out with an epic weapon later tonight. So as soon as I see a smashing amount of likes on this video, that will be coming out, of course. And subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And I really want to see you guys asking some in-depth and important questions down below. Let's get started. First question is from Marcus Lewis. His question, and I did get quite a few good questions for this video, some really in-depth ones. His is, I've been watching your videos, I've watched a lot of your videos using a high fire rate gun, but I noticed it's always in the middle and has no recoil. How do you do that? Because when I use a high recoil gun, it never stays in the middle. Now, this is honestly a question that I never used to get maybe 2-3 years ago, but lately this has been one of the biggest questions on my channel is, how come your guns have no recoil? You're cheating, blah, blah, blah. Well, some people say you're cheating. Some other people say, how do you do that? Basically, the way you control high recoil, high fire rate, same thing for most guns, how you control these guns is by maneuvering your right thumbstick against the recoil patterns of the guns. Now, an easy way to learn a recoil pattern of a gun and to practice this, it's even something that I practice usually when I first log on, and maybe if I'm going to be playing quite a bit with a certain gun, I want to make sure I'm adapted to that gun's recoil pattern. So take your gun, whether you're going to be using it with a grip or without a grip, obviously if recoil is a problem for you, you're probably going to want to run grip, head over into the firing range, and basically just hold down the trigger on that gun, let the recoil go, and you will see where the recoil will go. Most of them, of course, is going to be vertical, up in the air, maybe a bit off to the right, maybe a bit off to the left, maybe way more off to the side. You can basically learn the recoil pattern of most guns by doing that. Now, once you've learned the recoil pattern, what you want to do is, as you're shooting the gun, of course, this is a lot easier said than done, but if you're someone that plays the game as much as I play, and you know, you're addicted to this game and stuff like that, this will be something that becomes somewhat of a habit, something that you don't even have to think about it consciously and it just happens. You want to be able to pull against that recoil pattern with that right thumbstick. So the way that you practice this is, like I said, once you understand the recoil pattern, go into the firing range, find those little circle targets like the ones that you throw that look like a dartboard. There's one on the right, on the left, and back up as far as you can in the firing range, shoot against that, and try to practice pulling that right thumbstick down just a tiny bit and making sure all of your bullets remain in that tight circle on that gun. Do that about 5 to 10 times with the weapon you're going to be using before you go in and start playing games with that. And that'll sort of become muscle memory, and that's how I'm able to control guns. It's not that I have some sort of mod where my guns have no recoil. Usually I'm just running grip, and I am pulling against the recoil pattern. It's a bit of a more advanced technique, but that is the best description I've ever given on my channel about it, and a way to practice it. So hopefully that helps a lot of people out. It's a pretty advanced tip. Next one is from Sam. Hey Goblin, in World War II, is it worth getting the scuff controller like it was in Advanced Movement? Now this is a good question, and this is also a question I get quite a bit. People say scuff controllers are only good for flying around games, and here's what I have to say about that. I've been using scuff since Modern Warfare 3, so that's 6 years now. Yeah, 6 years, around 6 years. That's how long I've been using scuff. And basically, a scuff controller in Advanced Movement is 100% required in my opinion, because you're going to be, well, I guess they have other ways to do it, you know, such as bump and jumper, but that's when it's going to be the most effective. However, is a scuff controller still very, very helpful in boots on the ground games? 100,000%. Me personally, when I started getting into scuff and using scuff, MW3, there was no sign of these Advanced Movement games even coming in the future. And, you know, of course, that's when scuff, you know, got more, I mean, it's always been mainstream and popular, probably since BO2 because of the jump shot. Now the scuff controller, what it allows you to do is having those paddles on the back where one paddle is a jump, one paddle is a knife, is very effective in multiple ways. Number one, being able to jump shot is pretty good in this game. Drop shotting is also very good, but the jump into drop shot is probably my favorite technique, and that is way easier with that one, as well as just having that ability to knife, because I use tactical button layout, and I'm pretty sure most people do that, where you're basically your crouch is going to be on your right thumbstick, and your knife is going to be on that B button or on the circle button, I think it is on the PS4. I don't know. I play PS4 and I've been playing PS4 for years, but in my head it's still on the Xbox controller because Xbox is what I like grew up on, the 360, right? So that's how it works. Basically, being able to knife people works really good with the infantry division. I've never been panic knifing as much as I do in this game because of that infantry division. The lunge on it is retarded. Speaking of it, I literally just did it in the gameplay as I'm speaking right now. Really insane lunge on that. It works very effectively, especially on those guns where you're not as good with those guns at close range. And of course, the jump shot. So scuff controllers are still super helpful, and it is around, you know, Christmas time. So of course, if you order it now, it probably won't arrive until, you know, way after Christmas or whatever. But definitely if you're looking for something that you want, a piece of gaming equipment, that is probably the best piece of gaming equipment. Control Freaks and Scuff, of course, they're different price ranges. Not everyone can afford them, but yes, they are still very helpful. And if my Scuff controller like would break or something like that, I would be completely screwed because I'm not used to using a normal controller. I haven't done it for years. Next question is from Yuki Kid. Can you make a video on when to reload, not to reload in a gunfight? That's one of the main things that's stopping me from getting the higher end kill streaks. It seems like every time I kill 2 or 3 people and I'm low, I guess the wrong time to change the clip and I die. Now this is a very good question, of course. A lot of people always ask me this, and reloading, when is the time to reload? It all depends on your gun and the reload time of your gun. Of course, the common sense thing would be, if this is a main problem for you, just equip the hustle, which is a sleight of hand, allows you to reload very, very quick. So that could be something that fixes your problem, as well as extended mags. That's, I usually like to run extended mags instead of hustle, because hustle takes away your only one basic training, when if you were to run extended mags, sure, it takes away 1 attachment slot, but you can have 2, 3, 4 attachments depending on your class setup, so it's not as big of a burden on that complete division or class setup right there. But how to know the right time to reload? Usually, the thing you have to do when you run out of ammo is, number 1, you either go for the melee, number 2, you go for the reload, and number 3, you go for the secondary. And secondaries in this game are fairly strong. So, and your time to switch between your primary and your secondary is also very fast. So if this is a main problem for you, don't be afraid to whip out that machine pistol and use that when you are running out of ammo, if you think people are still going. And as far as picking the right times to reload, you have to know your weapon and know how confident you can be. So if I have the FG42 and I have 6 bullets in it, I'm pretty confident in that because that's a 3-shot kill. If I have the WAF 28 and I have 6 bullets, I'm not going to try to get in a gunfight because that gun has crazy recoil, crazy fire rate, and it takes 4 to 6 bullets actually to kill. So you have to understand your gun, and that's basically the tip I could give you on when to reload. Of course, this is situational, situation by situation, so I can't tell you, hey, reload there, don't reload there. You know, I really have no idea about your situations, but those are some general tips I can give you for that. Next one is from Sean. Is buying contracts with Armory credits worth it? Now, here's my thing with this. Only buy contracts from the Quartermaster, or from the from Major Howard. You can buy whatever because they're all free. You can cancel them, whatever. It doesn't matter. But where it gets down to crunch time and down to number crunching is with the Quartermaster lady or the Butcher, who is in for the winter version of the Quartermaster lady, because with that, it does cost money to buy into these contracts. So I have a couple main rules with this. Number 1, only buy contracts you know you're going to complete. Buy them right before you're going to go into that game mode. And you have to understand the amount of money. You want to start with the contracts that cost the least amount. So 25, 50 Armory credits, those ones are worth. And I think anything up to around 200 or 250 Armory credits for a supply drop, I think that is worth. Anything where it goes like 1,000 Armory credits for a chance at 1 supply drop, never do those. Those are not worth it at all. Of course, I'd rather just stick with the Armory credits, save those when you can just buy your way to collections. Of course, you can't buy every single thing in the game, but you can buy a certain amount of the really good variants, as well as the DLC weapons, and probably more stuff in the future that's going to come out. So I definitely would hang on to your Armory credits. If it costs, you know, 50, 100, 150, 200, even 250, probably worth going for as long as you know you're going to complete that contract 100,000%. But as far as if it's 1,000, I see some that are like 1,000, not in this winter event. In this winter event, they've made it so all of them are pretty reasonable. But no, like before the winter event, there was some that was like 1,000 Armory credits for a chance at one supply drop. Stay away from those. They are 100% not worth it. That's what I have to say about that. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like. Leave me a ton of comments on questions you guys want answered in the next video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Sub for Cookie and Don't Lookie. I'm out. Peace.